All right, so today is Sunday, May 31st, and here's what I got done this week. I wasn't able to make the video on Friday. Actually, I just forgot. So anyway, I'm here now, and I got my main spars riveted up. I made these blocks. I measured out the exact dimension of the spar. I kind of forget, honestly, what it was. I think it was, yeah, if I say a number right now, I'm not gonna remember. But then I cut it on the table saw to make some blocks that are exactly the right dimension. They fit in pretty tight, as you would expect, the wing spar should. But they do just kind of slide in with a little bit of force and rivet it up, and so it's all good on both sides. Really, that's just something I should have done a long time ago. Whatever, it's done now. Filled up those rivets, and so the big news of last week is the avionics wiring harness is on its way. I think it's supposed to be here on Tuesday. So I've got pretty much all of my wires run. I got my X3 connector made up and installed. All the wires are running into the cabin and ready for the harness to arrive. And then I've got another surprise on the way. I think it'll be here in about another week, and I'm not even going to disclose what that is right now because I'm pretty excited about it, and I think it'll be something unique, one of a kind. I've never seen one in the Sling, and it'll add a definite bit of character to the plane, and I'm really excited about it. So in the meantime, I've been just kind of trying to look ahead and see just how all the interior panels kind of fit together and how everything sits in there. Nothing's riveted. You can see it's just taped in place. But yeah, I really like the way it looks, and I really like my color choice of the dark gray for the interior here. It just matches really well. This is kind of the standard Airplane Factory gray that they use. That's got a little bit of a bluish tint to it. A lot of the canopies that come as quick builds and stuff all have the same kind of color matching blue, but they use something bluer in their paint. So I'm really excited about the way it all kind of fits together. One thing to kind of note is you see there, the hole location that they tell you to drill in is not the hole location that they put on the panels. And of course, these panels aren't actually placed yet, but so I might be able to get that to line up just slightly better. But definitely I'm gonna have to mark it and drill it out, or not drill it, but grind it so it fits a little bit better, because you get that plastic cap that pops in the hole, and of course it needs to get all the way through the hole. It won't be a problem for any kind of functionality or anything like that. I mean, essentially the inside skin there is going to have an oval, but you know, if I seal it up nice and good, and it shouldn't be a problem at all. So yeah, one thing that I'd recommend is wait till your side panels come in, your interior upholstery comes in, to mark out exactly where that hole should be drilled, because the dimensions that they give you, like I said, you could see it's off by maybe 15 millimeters or something. So yeah, wait for them to come in and then mark it exactly where it's going to be, and then drill it out maybe once it's on the plane, or because the problem is that these are riveted, the side skins are riveted, and if you have all the clecos, you're not going to be able to line it up. So anyway, yeah, it won't be a problem. It's just another step. Another thing I got done was I'm starting to get the insulation on all the oil lines. And what I did, I'm not really sure kind of what the standard way of doing that is. There's nothing in the manuals, but you can see the Rotax stuff comes with some of the parts already insulated, and they've wrapped it around and sewn up the mating surface there. What I did was I cut strips of, this is the insulation stuff here. You see, and so I cut a strip about, I don't know, maybe about that wide, so what's 2 inches or so, just down the whole thing, and then wrapped it around, and it comes out really nice. It definitely is going to serve its purpose. And then just use some tie wire to kind of hold it on, and yeah, it's not too bad. It takes a little time to wrap it through some of this stuff. I think that a better way to go, well, I'm not sure. What I did was wrapped it in place because I didn't want to have it come straight, wrap it, and then potentially have it pull apart or do something weird after I bent the hose. Maybe it would have been fine to do it that way. Certainly would have saved some effort to just have the hose straight and wrap it off the plane and then install it. But anyway, that's the way I went with it, and it worked out okay. So I'm gonna have to insulate this guy and a couple other pieces once they come in. But yeah, I'm really happy with the way everything's coming together. And I did on these side panels, when you're trying to fit in all this stuff, I've said it a bunch of times, I really like to build really far in advance, but not rivet, and then kind of tear it down and slowly build it back up, just to know what you're in for in the future. And one of the things here is these vent ducts here are supposed to be riveted. It says in the manual, flush with the top edge of your front side inside skins. And I did it that way, but then there was a lot of interference between the upholstery panel and the bracket, you could see. So I actually cut out a small notch on each side so that the panel just fits right around it. It came out really clean, and there's not going to be any issue with that. I think you can see the cutout there. Yeah, and I think that no matter what, you might have to do that, because even if you mount this guy a little higher up, I think the cutout ended up having to be deeper. Can I see in there? No. Yeah, the cutout had to be a little deeper than even if you mounted it as high up as you can go, because you do want it to have, you know, some substantial material still above the rivets. But anyway, yeah, it came together no problem. And another thing I got done this week, just kind of some odds and ends waiting for that big moment when my harness gets here. I got the ELT mounted and located. This is pretty much, I think, where everybody puts it, because this particular rib here has holes that were for the autopilot bracket, and these ribs are the exact same cut, just bent opposite from each other. Two of the holes line up perfectly with the ELT mount, this guy, and so then you just have to drill two more holes up here, and it sits perfectly so that all the wires will be able to run straight through that hole in the rear spar. And yeah, so things are coming together. It's looking good. One other thing that I haven't talked about in a while, because I've been kind of troubleshooting it in my mind, I had a small, just the slowest tiny leak in my right fuel tank, and I wasn't having any luck finding it with the soapy water method. Maybe I was too concerned to inflate the tank to super high pressures or something to really get it. Maybe I don't know what I was. Either way, if you do have any trouble with that, I got some fuel dye, fluorescent dye that's made for gasoline, and I mixed it in with some gas and I poured it in the tank, and sure enough, it took about 2 minutes and a little stream of glowing, if you have a UV light. I actually didn't even need my UV light, but a small stream of glowing UV stuff came right out, and found it. And so yeah, I'm really happy. So I got the sealant is on there and drying up now, and I really like that technique. I mean, then I rinsed it out, or I drained the fuel, rinsed it out with some clean fuel, so there's no dye, there's no nothing, even though it is safe, says the manufacturer of the dye, it's safe to run it through your engine and it won't hurt the engine. I'm just gonna dump it in my truck just to be safe. Plus, I don't know what I would do with 5 gallons of fuel in my tank for the next month or two until it's time to fly it. And yeah, so I think that's the update for the week. Next week, like I said, when the harness gets here, it's gonna be really exciting to lay it all out on my long table there and kind of start building it up and testing it out and hopefully getting it hooked up. One thing is I fit my big leather dashboard, that guy, in here, and it fits all together fine, but there's no instruction on, you know, so obviously the front side of the dashboard kind of goes in right here on the front top skin. The back side, or the I guess the interior side of the dashboard, there's no instruction on kind of how high to mount it. It does pretty much sit in one spot, but I'm waiting on confirmation from the factory on exactly how it goes, and not only that, but how to actually attach it. From all the builds I've seen, nobody's got, you know, screws going through the inside of their dashboard to riv nuts or something like that. So yeah, I don't really know how they're doing it, but hopefully I hear back soon. I think the factory's probably slammed trying to keep up with production and answer questions, but it's been almost, you know, a good couple days since I asked that question. It was early last week and I haven't heard back. So anyway, yeah, so have a good weekend, I guess, even though now the weekend's over, and I'll get the next update done next week.